The ballroom's crystal chandeliers shattered like fragile dreams as Prince Adrian's sword clashed against Prince Lucius's. The metallic ring echoing through the opulent hall of the New Avalon Palace. I stood frozen in the center, my heart pounding like a war drum. The silk gown, me sister's gown, clinging to my skin as the truth I'd hidden for months threatened to unravel everything. In that moment, as the two most powerful men in the kingdom fought over me, I realized my desperate act of deception had ignited a fire that could either illuminate my soul or burn us all to ashes. It all began in the bustling streets of New Avalon, a thriving metropolis nestled in the heart of what was once the American Midwest, now a sovereign kingdom born from the ashes of old-world divisions. My name is Elias Thorne, and I was never meant for royalty. Raised in a modest family of artisans in the city's artisan quarter, I spent my days sketching intricate designs for stained glass windows, my fingers stained with vibrant pigments that mirrored the colors of my hidden desires. My twin sister, Eliza, was the beauty of our household, destined for greatness, or so our parents believed when the royal decree arrived. The kingdom of New Avalon, forged in the late 21st century after the Great Unification, blended ancient monarchy with modern American ideals of freedom and innovation. But traditions lingered, especially in matters of alliance through marriage. Prince Adrian, heir to the throne, needed a bride to secure peace with our neighboring realm. And Eliza had been chosen for her grace and lineage tracing back to old pioneer families. She was thrilled at first, dreaming of crowns and courtly love. But on the eve of the wedding, terror struck. Eliza vanished, leaving only a cryptic note: "I can't live a lie. Forgive me." Panic gripped our family. Refusing the prince would mean ruin, exile, or worse, in a kingdom where alliances were as fragile as glass. My parents turned to me, their eyes pleading. "You look so much like her, Elias," my mother whispered, her voice trembling. "With the right disguise, no one would know." I stared at my reflection, seeing the soft features we shared, the same emerald eyes and chestnut curls. But I was a man, 22 years old, harboring secrets of my own, whispers of affection for those society deemed forbidden. Yet, love for my family outweighed my fear. I agreed, stepping into Eliza's shoes literally and figuratively for what I thought would be a temporary charade. The wedding was a whirlwind of veils and vows in the palace's grand cathedral, its spires piercing the sky like defiant American eagles. Prince Adrian, with his brooding dark eyes and chiseled jaw, stood tall in his regal uniform, a symbol of strength and tradition. As I approached the altar, my heart raced, not just from nerves, but from an unexpected spark when our gazes met. "You are more radiant than the stars," he murmured during the ceremony, his hand warm on mine. I swallowed hard, the weight of the deception pressing down. But in that instant, I felt seen not as Eliza, but as something deeper. Life as the princess began in luxury I'd never imagined. The palace overlooked vast lakes that shimmered like mirrors, reflecting the kingdom's blend of old-world charm and technological marvels, hovering carriages gliding through streets lined with neon-lit taverns. Adrian was kind, attentive, drawing me into late-night conversations by the fireside. "Tell me your dreams, my love," he'd say, his voice a soothing baritone. I'd spin tales from my artisan life, careful to feminine them, but each word deepened our bond. One evening, under a canopy of stars, he kissed me gently, and I melted, the line between pretense and passion blurring. Was this wrong? My body responded in ways that thrilled and terrified me, awakening feelings I'd suppressed. But shadows loomed. Whispers in the court hinted at Eliza's disappearance being no accident, rumors of a rival faction plotting against the throne. Then came Prince Lucius, Adrian's estranged brother, exiled years ago for challenging the crown's rigid traditions. He returned unannounced, a storm of charisma and rebellion, his golden hair wild like the untamed prairies beyond the city. Lucius was the antithesis of Adrian Bold, unapologetic, with a laugh that echoed freedom. During a masquerade ball, he cornered me in the gardens, his piercing blue eyes seeing through my facade. "You're no delicate flower, are you?" he teased, his breath hot against my ear. "There's fire in you, hidden beneath that gown." I pulled away, heart hammering. But Lucius pursued with relentless charm. He showed me hidden passages in the palace, shared stories of his travels across the kingdom's vast territories from the foggy coasts of what was once California to the snowy peaks of the Rockies. "New Avalon needs change," he'd say, his hand brushing mine. "And you're the key." His touches ignited a different flame, one of adventure and raw desire, contrasting Adrian's steady warmth. Torn between them, I navigated court intrigues, dodging suspicions from advisors who noted my unladylike strength in debates. As weeks turned to months, the deception weighed heavier. Adrian proposed a grand tour of the kingdom to solidify our union. But Lucius intercepted us in the Whispering Woods, an enchanted forest where ancient trees murmured secrets. "She's not who you think, brother," Lucius declared, revealing fragments of Eliza's note he'd uncovered. Chaos erupted, swords drawn, accusations flying. I confessed everything, shedding the gown to stand as Elias, vulnerable and true. Adrian's face crumpled in betrayal, while Lucius's eyes softened with understanding. "I knew," Lucius admitted, "and I fell for you anyway." The brothers' rivalry escalated into a duel, not just for my heart, but for the kingdom's future. Adrian represented stability, Lucius reform. As they clashed, I intervened, my voice cutting through the fray. "Stop. This isn't about possession, it's about choice." In that pivotal moment, I realized my journey wasn't merely survival, but self-discovery, embracing my identity in a world that demanded conformity. The duel halted, breaths heavy in the crisp air. Adrian sheathed his sword first, his expression a mix of pain and resolve. I loved the person I saw, Elias, not the illusion. Lucius nodded, stepping back. But the true battle was internal for me, and for them. We retreated to the palace, where honest conversations unfolded over endless nights. Adrian shared his own hidden burdens, the pressure of the crown stifling his dreams. Lucius confessed his exile stemmed from loving another man, a secret that fueled his rebellion. In time, alliances shifted. I chose neither exclusively, but both in a way that redefined love. Adrian and I forged a partnership of equals, while Lucius became the catalyst for change, advocating for acceptance in the kingdom's laws. Our trio challenged traditions, proving that love transcended gender and expectation. At a historic assembly in the Grand Hall, we stood united, announcing reforms that embraced diverse unions, drawing cheers from the people. Yet, the path wasn't smooth. Factions resisted, plotting assassinations that tested our bonds. One night, under siege in the palace towers, Adrian shielded me from an arrow, his blood staining the marble. For you, I'd fight the stars. He gasped. Lucius rallied the guards, his sword a blur of fury. In the aftermath, as Adrian healed, we shared a tender moment, kisses exchanged freely. No more secrets. Lucius, ever the wanderer, proposed a new adventure, exploring uncharted lands to expand the kingdom's horizons. Together, he said, his hand clasping mine and Adrian's. Our love evolved into a profound connection, a constellation of three souls orbiting each other. In the quiet moments, stargazing from the balcony, I'd whisper, "We're all stars, burning bright in our own way." The kingdom flourished under this new era. Stories of our triad inspiring ballads across New Avalon. Elias Thorne, once a hidden artisan, became a symbol of authenticity. As years passed, we faced losses, me parents passing, reconciled with pride in my truth but gained immeasurable joy. On our anniversary, under the same starry sky, Adrian and Lucius renewed vows not of possession, but partnership. In the end, my deception birthed not destruction, but enlightenment. Love, in its truest form, wasn't a battle for the last stare, it was sharing the entire sky, illuminating the darkness with acceptance and humanity. The revelation sent shockwaves through the court, but instead of exile, it sparked a revolution of hearts. Adrian, grappling with his feelings, retreated to the royal library, poring over ancient texts on love and identity. "I've always sensed something unique in you," he confessed one dawn. As sunlight filtered through the stained glass windows I'd helped design in secret. His kiss then was deliberate, accepting me as Elias, igniting a passion that felt like home. Lucius, meanwhile, whisked me to the underground resistance meetings in the city's underbelly, where outcasts gathered to plot change. "You're brave, Elias," he said, his fingers tracing my jawline in the dim light. "Braver than any prince." Our stolen moments were electric, charged with the thrill of forbidden romance amid whispers of uprising. Yet, jealousy simmered. Adrian's possessive glances clashed with Lucius's defiant smirks during council sessions. The turning point came during the Harvest Festival, a grand American-style celebration with fireworks painting the sky in reds, whites, and blues. An assassin, hired by conservative nobles, struck at me in the crowd. Lucius dove in front, taking the blade to his shoulder, while Adrian commanded the guards with unyielding authority. In the infirmary, as healers tended wounds, emotions boiled over. Why fight for him? Adrian demanded of his brother. Lucius grinned through pain. Because love isn't yours to hoard, brother. It's ours to share. That night, in a private chamber overlooking the festival lights, we three confronted the storm. Tears flowed as I admitted my fierce rejection of losing them both. Adrian softened, revealing his own youthful crushes on stable boys, suppressed for the crown. Lucius laughed, sharing tales of lovers in exile. "We're all flawed stars," I said, echoing an old family proverb. In that vulnerability, barriers crumbled. Our embraces intertwined, a tapestry of affection that defied norms, kisses shared, hands exploring with consent and care. But external threats mounted. The rival faction, led by Duke Harlan, rallied against unnatural unions, inciting riots in the streets. We countered with diplomacy and daring, Lucius leading covert operations to expose corruption. Adrian using his influence to sway the council. I, no longer hidden, spoke publicly, my voice amplified by the kingdom's broadcast systems. Love is the ultimate freedom, I declared to cheering crowds, drawing on American roots of liberty. In a climactic confrontation at the border fortress, where ancient walls met modern defenses, Harlan's forces ambushed us. Swords clashed amid laser-guided arrows, the air thick with magic-infused smoke from alchemical grenades. Adrian and Lucius fought back-to-back, their synergy born from brotherhood renewed. I, armed with a dagger and determination, struck the decisive blow, disarming Harlan and forcing his surrender. Victory came at a cost, wounds that scarred, friends lost in the fray. But in the ruins, as dawn broke over the horizon, we pledged a new covenant. Adrian abdicated minor powers to Lucius, creating a dual principality that embraced progress. I stood between them, not as a prize, but as a partner, our hands linked in unity. Life settled into a rhythm of shared rule and intimate nights. We'd picnic in meadows where wildflowers bloomed like forgotten dreams, debating philosophy under endless skies. Adrian's steady love grounded me, while Lucius's fire kept the spark alive. Children from the orphanages we reformed called us the Star Princes, a title that warmed our hearts. Years later, on a quiet evening, as gray touched our temples, we reflected on the journey. From deception to destiny. Adrian mused, his arm around me. Lucius nodded, stoking the fire. And humanity in between. Our story became legend, teaching that true love fights not over, but for each other, illuminating the sky for all. The legacy endured. New Avalon's laws evolved, celebrating diversity in all forms. Young lovers, inspired by our tale, walked hand in hand without fear. Elias Thorne, the artisan who became a beacon, found peace in authenticity. In the palace gardens, a monument stood, 3 figures under a starry dome, inscribed with "Love conquers deception." As the sun set on our era, I gazed at the horizon, heart full. The 2 princes who once fought over me now shared my life, proving that in the vast cosmos of human emotion, there's room for more than one star to shine brightly. Our bond, forged in fire and tempered by truth, echoed the greatest American value, the pursuit of happiness, unyielding and inclusive.